Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and welcome to the Kickback Cafe, the show where we kick back, relax, and for the most part, with the exception of Star Wars, which is owned by Disney, talk about anything but Disney. Yes. All right, how you doing, BlueDragonFive? I'm sorry, I've been teasing you out with the show. I've been dragging it out. It's been a busy week, man.
Yep.
Oh man, I still haven't even gotten my Steven Universe episodes yet, which is just a shame. I am like just behind on the curve when it comes to that. But you know what? I'm doing it for you. I'm not doing Steven Universe tonight because I am doing Comic-Con because I told you I would, and there is no other time to do it than tonight.
Yep.
So all right, so you want to kind of put everything into context here before we go forward?
Sure. So, folks, Comic-Con has passed, and wow, what a Comic-Con! I mean, the big guns. The Marvel Cinematic Universe did not have a panel this year, but face front.
23.
Well, certainly, most assuredly, it's going to come during that time. But then again, to be fair, they dropped pretty much like their whole master plan for years to come at the last one. So they kind of, I think they need some recoup time before they can go any further. They got to build some mystery up against for Doctor Strange. Just saying. But so the point is, so even without the Marvel Studios there specifically, we still had a lot of stuff, with the whole Warner Brothers and Fox, and it was all Fox. I'm just trying to think if there was any Sony snuck in there. Nope, all Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, even with those two guns, they really filled in with some bombastic news, some really cool stuff we saw. It was Comic-Con was a bustle, and it's a lot of stuff we should talk about. It's a lot of really cool trailers dropped, some stuff to chat about, some directions for the movies, for the future of these movies to discuss, speculate upon, and lament. But also not just
some cases.
What?
Do we get bad news?
You don't really think we got any bad news. To be honest, I don't really think we got any bad news.
Yeah, so I don't know why we're lamenting over anything.
Well, I'm just saying it's kind of in the shock of it all, just kind of processing time.
All right.
But also, though, however...
and I, Jack, the Pumpkin King.
But, in addition to those two I just mentioned, we got some other stuff, too, we're going to be talking about, including Star Wars in the mix, a bit of additional, because they were the big one of the big showstoppers this year, too. So we got a bunch of stuff this coming. And so surprisingly, big stuff without Marvel, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe really being there.
I think Marvel's kind of got its competition cut out for it now. I really think that the gauntlet has been kind of thrown down.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, you want to jump right into perhaps the biggest trailer released at Comic-Con that we have yet to talk about?
Well, maybe we should start with something we've talked about a little.
All right, you want to get right into Batman versus Superman. We already did a whole 45-minute or so podcast about it, but let's give our sort of... Now, the interesting thing to talk about here is, our reactions.
Yes.
But what was everyone else's reaction? And I'd say everyone else's reaction was pretty damn good.
Yeah, seemed overwhelmingly positive. People are really they've changed a lot of their viewpoints on the movie. Beforehand, they had a little bit of reservations. The first teaser, it was serviceable as a teaser, but didn't really jazz people up for the movie like this trailer did. Really.
Exactly. I think the most notable turnaround right now is just Batfleck. I really think Batman is going to be just fierce. I think this might be the best Batman we've ever had, dare I say, on screen.
Well, it's looking pretty good. He can actually move in the suit, which is always good. It is looking very positive. A lot of really cool stuff. As I've said in Nexus before, seeing him run into the plume of destroyed building, I love that shot so much.
That's your favorite shot. I think my favorite shot is him in the Batcave with the rope and the giant tire.
Oh, that's a good shot, too. But, we talked about it in Excess. We're going shot by shot because how can we not? Because it's Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
The red capes are coming.
Yes, in 2016, they're coming. They knew we were coming.
Line.
I keep thinking of that Gordon line from Dark Knight. It says, they knew we were coming.
Oh, God.
Anyway. So just let's a few things to speculate on from the trailer. We didn't really, we were kind of on a time crunch for the last one, but just a few things I want to get out there. Just kind of speculating on what we saw in the trailer overall. A few things.
Mhm.
So one of the big shots people will talk about. It also looked really cool. I think we can all agree on seeing Desert Batman.
Oh my God, that was besides the tire thing, maybe that was definitely that was a mind blower for me. That definitely showed me that they were taking this in entirely different directions.
And importantly, with something like that, it really kind of shows that we're getting kind of the really good the Zack Snyder style that can basically bring any costume to really glorious life, like from Watchmen. You know what I mean? Like he really knows how to bring the costumes to true fruition with that sort of stuff, which I think we got a taste of in this trailer. Because I think Wonder Woman's pretty much brought directly to screen. Batman, definitely with the gray. The gray and everything. And pretty much it looks, I think, a lot of the shots and it looks a lot better than Man of Steel did with the color desaturation. I think we got a lot of good flares and everything in this one.
Right.
Anyway, so with the whole Desert Batman, I want to speculate on something. So we see one of the really cool parts of the trailer, Batman in desert mode. He's fighting a bunch of the Superman soldiers. Again, we don't know who their allegiance is to. We're assuming Superman because they don't have.
I would assume Superman.
I mean, they don't have X marks over the S, so I'm assuming they're on his side.
Yeah.
So the point is,
them bowing down to him, and I mean, unless it's some sort of there's some sort of plot to revolt against Superman in the works that we don't know about.
Yeah, that's the thing. It could be like the bit from Watchmen, the Vietnam. I'm just saying, comparing it to something. Like how the Vietnamese troops, they bow down, they want to surrender in person to Dr. Manhattan, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? There's a chance, though. I'm not saying it's going that route, but I'm saying there's always a chance. However, here's what I am saying. Of course, we know there's kryptonite in the movie. There's a huge rock of kryptonite that Jessica Eisenberg's clawing at. And potentially a little wristband of kryptonite, which could be cool. We don't know for certain that one, but, kryptonite is in the movie. So I'm thinking we might have a bit of a... why would Batman be out in the desert? Because Batman's usually a guy who doesn't like to leave Gotham, ordinarily. Usually it takes something big to get him out of Gotham. I'm thinking race to find kryptonite.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, kryptonite. I'm trying to think, why would Batman go out there necessarily to find Superman? So I'm thinking maybe it's kind of like in the original Superman, the kryptonite did crash land somewhere, so they retrieve it from somewhere. So I'm thinking maybe it crash lands there. The Superman soldiers are sent to retrieve the kryptonite because they probably maybe find out, well, it's a piece of krypton. Maybe we should get this for Superman, or it's a harmful thing. We have to protect Superman by getting this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman's trying to beat him to the punch. Yeah, it doesn't really, isn't it?
Excuse me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to go too well for Batman because he seems to be a little overrun, but I'm sure it's all part of his master bat plan. I'm going to get captured so I can interrogate Superman. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry. Anyway, so also let's speculate on a few more things here. So do you think there's a chance we're going to get Aquaman as a unifying threat and or force to show the world, basically what if Aquaman kind of has an invading Atlanteans on the surface, and that kind of stops Batman and Superman from fighting?
I mean, do we know how much Aquaman's going to be in the movie at all?
We don't know how much. Some people
but we do know that he'll be there.
Yeah, he will indeed be there.
I mean, right now it just seems, at least from what we've seen of the clips, I mean, of course it's just clips, but it seems like Wonder Woman is in it a little more than people were originally assuming she'd be.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, to tell you the truth, if there was some sort of looming Jason Momoa Aquaman and Atlantean army, I would think that that'd be a pretty big plot point to keep under wraps.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be, again, I don't mean to compare it too much to Watchmen, but it could also be maybe a thing just to kind of either at some point or Batman and Superman kind of realize, that they're kind of fighting each other or not for the right reasons. Perhaps it's Aquaman kind of puts on a show of an invading army, and then they help defeat it and basically kind of win people over on Superman or something,
Okay, I can see that.
One is I think Aquaman might be a factor, maybe kind of swaying people to liking Superman in some way.
And then where does freaking Cyborg fit into all this?
Well, no, he's down the line though. Again, he'll be in the. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, you have to have.
Yeah, he's definitely in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know he's in there, but actually, there's a chance he's in the movie too. Because it was way back when it was announced we got to someone cast for Cyborg. People just really forgotten about that. To be honest, I'm glad you brought that up.
I know, right?
Yeah, well, basically, what I was hoping, I mentioned this way back because I was still in the mindset back then of like, let's just keep Wonder Woman, and Aquaman's kind of like, hey, welcome to the team, sort of thing at the end. But
I don't think we're gonna get that.
No, we're not. We're not.
At least with Wonder Woman, I'm not sure with Aquaman.
Again,
so I think at least with Wonder Woman, I think she'll be a pivotal supporting character.
Yeah, I love the idea that she and Batman have a pre-existing relationship. I really love that idea, and I think there could be a lot done with it. Because me personally, also, I'm a big fan from the animated series. I love the Batman Wonder Woman relationship because they were in a relationship together. I love that. I'm not saying they're going to do it for this, but they know each other. However, so the thing with Aquaman is a question of if he's going to start out as kind of like a misunderstood villain of some sort, like they have a misunderstanding and he's kind of the villain for the piece. As he usually sometimes can be, of like, hey, you surface dwellers are ruining everything.
Well, I mean, the fact that it's freaking Jason Momoa definitely, like, he just comes off like a villain. Just look at his cast photo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's just like freaking like all the dreadlocks and stuff. It's pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah,
this ain't your daddy's Aquaman.
Yep. And right. Yeah, so that's also, let me throw this to you. What do you think? I'm sorry, one last thing before I move on to the next one. So with the Cyborg, so what they're probably going to do is like have him just be the football player he was before the accident. So they did shoot something at a football stadium way back when.
They definitely did. Yeah, I remember that.
So that's probably what he is. I don't think they're going to do the origin of him, but then again, they could. I don't know if they're going to do a weird thing where like with Batman, like maybe during the scuffle, a football field got destroyed and they're Cyborg. I don't think they're going that route, but hey, it's possible. They did with Batman. Who knows? Okay, so you think there's any chance we're getting the Luthor Joker team up in this movie?
Oh, man.
Way back when.
It's like I think the DC cinematic universe just kind of like out of fucking nowhere. It's just like, oh man, there's a lot of potential we can do with this shit now.
Because way back
kind
when,
of incredible.
When the first production photo was released, it was a Joker playing card indent like one of his razor sharp playing cards in a column of some sort.
Okay.
I'm just saying that some people thought this was like a tease this in general to stuff that was on the way, but then again, could actually be a tease to the Joker being in the movie. And it looks like Joker, the result of what he did to Jason Todd or Robin. That there's that looming around. There's someone sending Bruce Wayne threatening letters. Who knows? And traditionally, the way it goes, and like one of my favorite versions of Batman meeting Superman, the animated series, they have like the world's finest crossover where Batman. That was my first as a kid. That was the first time I ever saw the two of these guys meet each other. And in that story, it's Joker and Luthor team up to take them down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. We'll see. And also, let me ask you this: do you think Luthor is going to find out both their identities?
Not in this movie, no.
Why?
I just think that'd just be like way too much plot just right off the bat. I don't know. I think we should draw that kind of stuff out.
Let me throw this at you. Why do you? Okay, maybe not both of them. Why do you think he would not know Superman's identity?
Superman is another story. With Batman, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Like I said, I just think like if you're throwing in like all these different plot points and he knows this identity and this idea, it's like the one thing we need to hope for with this movie.
They're going to make us buy some stuff.
Well, yes, of course. But is that it doesn't get too convoluted. You know what I mean? I think that's the one thing that they're really fighting against with this
I'm just
movie.
saying Lois Lane figured out Man of Steel, so I'm wondering if Luthor is going to find out who Superman is. Because, again, he doesn't have much.
That's a good point. I kind of forgot about how Man of Steel, they kind of make less of a big deal out of it.
Because I'm just saying that they're going the route of this Superman, at least in Man of Steel, it was that, you didn't really see him up close that much. He was kind of like just out there. Again, as I think we've said, he only interacted with the military, and that was about it.
Oh, and he's so hot. He's kind of hot. I think he's kind of hot.
Point is, there was limited Superman sightings. So really, if you got to look at the guy, he kind of made an effort to kind of keep himself away from people. Now that's out of the question because now he's literally walking into Senate buildings.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to wonder if Luthor is a guy who says, I'm going to just use my satellites to scan everyone's faces in Metropolis and just match with the Superman.
Could be, could be.
We'll see. I'm wondering how gutsy they're going to be with that. It could be kind of interesting if Luthor found out and just toyed with him or something. We'll see.
I just think at this point it's just kind of a little too early to even be speculating on some.
I'm just saying. Also,
like
it's kind of like a new fad of like exposing Superman's identity. So.
Well, I think just with the MCU in general, it's kind of a fad to expose superhero identities.
I mean, believe me. Look, I'm just saying in a movie where in a universe where we have Lois Lane figure out, which it's a cool idea. I'm not against that at all. But I'm just saying you have to make me buy that Luthor wouldn't figure it out. I'm going to trust them that if they sell me.
I'm not saying Luthor. I'm just less sold on Batman.
What do you mean? Do you mean Batman figuring out Superman's identity?
No. Well, yeah, that I guess. And
that's going to happen. He's going to figure out who he is. That's no question. He's going to figure out who Superman is.
But I more so mean Luthor figuring out Batman's identity.
Well, yeah, that one I was just I threw out there because it depends how smart they make their Luthor. It'd be kind of interesting. I don't know, but
like I said, I just think that's like way too much stuff. Like it's like then he's just like, I know Bruce Wayne and now Bruce Wayne.
I'll give you that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they play off how smart their Eisenberg Luthor is, and if you can make us buy that he wouldn't know who Superman was. Sure. We'll see. Also, because last few things here. So like overall, I want to. The main concern I had for this movie is I want to be able to root for Superman, and it looks like they're driving the whole hope thing in this show. So I'm a little more, I'm higher on that.
Yeah, they got Lois Lane giving them pet talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm glad they are showing that Superman. It's like in the Dark Knight Returns animated movie, they definitely show Superman is not the bad guy in the situation. In the Dark Knight Returns comic,
right?
He is more so as the government idiot. He's just the guy he's tasked with. Hey, go get Batman. Okay. That's how it goes. Hey, Bruce, we used to be friends. I'm going to try to kill you now. That's how it was in the comic. Movie, it's like, Bruce, don't make me do this, man. I don't want to kill you, but I'm going to have to if you don't stop. Right, see, that's much better. So I'm saying in a similar route, I hope that...
I also think the difference between the movie and the comic is kind of like the Blade Runner, like, theatrical versus director's cut. And that, as cool as that Frank Miller, voiceover is... It kind of distracts from the whole narrative when it comes down to it, and I feel like the whole thing is a little more streamlined when you cut it out.
Yeah. And I'm getting a sense, and I'm really happy about this if they go this route. That just looking at those shots and shows like Superman like landing in front of the Senate building, just having this like look upon his face like he's been called into the principal's office. Just like it's just like I tried to do. It's like he's on a playground. He saves a little girl from being bullied, or some kid from being bullied, and then he's like, "Well, you got into a fight. You got to go to the principal's office." Essentially, that's the situation.
You're right.
And when
you're right. On a very grand scale, that is the situation. You got in a fight, and now you have to go to the principal's office.
Yeah, and basically what I'm hoping with that is we see Superman as the way we should see him. Is he's a guy just trying to do the right thing while he's under all this scrutiny. And in the end of the day, he's just going to hopefully win over some of these people in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we hope. I just want to be able definitely to root for Superman, because in a movie called Batman v Superman, I'm going to definitely hope that I can equally root for both sides to win.
I mean, yeah, it's like we wanted to see Affleck kick ass, of course, but I hope it doesn't get too one-sided.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, not right. Ultimately they want to just make friends, but I'm just saying, yeah. Also, it looks like it's kind of two things. One is going to transition to our next subject here, but one there might be. I wonder if there are going to be any hints of Steve Trevor like leading. I'm wondering by the end of this movie, if we're going to have Steve Trevor introduced here, because there's a question of when Steve Trevor.
I think that's very much a possibility.
Because there's a question of when Steve Trevor might be introduced in one of the next couple movies coming out. Because it could be this one, could be the next one of 2016, or it could be
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it could be definitely. He's definitely going to be in Wonder Woman. We know.
Of course.
Question of like when he's going to be introduced, because he could be kind of the Nick Fury also. If Amanda Waller isn't the Nick Fury, which she's a little more in the villain route than kind of the.
She fascinates me, and I can't wait to get into that.
Sure, but I mean, like it's like Steve Trevor could also be kind of the Coulson / Nick Fury of the DC universe.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely see him popping up in this movie. I mean, the only thing is we haven't heard any casting news.
And I'm wondering if by the end of this movie there might be like I know they don't do post-credit scenes, but like
no, they don't.
Yeah, but the point is like at the ending of it, if it's like Steve Trevor is like leading a government program, like either a secret government program or something of like what if the government or some organization decided to let's have a project called like let's form the Justice League, essentially. What if they came with the idea, Justice League will be a program that will monitor these super people, make sure they're operating in our best interest. And maybe that's like, it starts off like just that's the name of the program. That's how you get a name like Justice League in there. And by the end of it, then the Justice League, after they actually team up and they basically make it their own thing. You know what I mean? Like they would say, well, we're going to take this name they gave us, we're going to turn it into something.
Yeah.
Like we're just classified as the Justice League project. People, they keep an eye on us in particular. No, we're not going to just have them keep an eye on us. We're going to be something better than them. You know what I mean? Does that sound too crazy or what?
I'm sorry. We have a schedule to keep up with, and I think we're talking too much about a trailer that we already did a podcast about. I don't mean to be rude. I'm just.
All right. Okay. The last thing this gets us into our next one. So basically, it looks like maybe the Suicide Squad might be a result of Superman.
How so?
There was a line in the trailer about. There's a line in the trailer about the Superman must have shown, basically there are a lot of superpowered people on this team. Well, Superman must have been a beacon for these people.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. I don't necessarily think we're gonna like see any of the Suicide Squad or anything like that. I mean, it could.
Well, no,
like,
not in the movie. I'm saying maybe in Suicide Squad it's like.
Although, how cool would it be to just have like a cold open fight between Batman and Killer Croc or something like that?
Oh, I would love that.
Just in the sewers, right?
That sounds so cool.
That's all I'm saying.
Or Batman and Deadshot. Oh, Batman and Deadshot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Got to set that stuff up.
Deadshot, in theory, Deadshot would be the lead guy of that movie. In theory,
I think they're pretty much setting it up to be Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and Harley at the center of it.
Well, they're always the kind of the centers of it whenever they do that. So.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know much about the comic, so that's just what I got.
Okay, so yeah, let's with that. So let's transition to Suicide Squad here. So
okay, this is the movie that I think just fucking burst the DC cinematic universe wide open. Like, I think the possibilities are kind of endless after this. I am genuinely kind of stoked. I've been looking forward to this movie for a while. I mean, of course, Jared Leto, definitely very solid casting. Like, DC's been getting it right with their casting, man. I must say, between I liked Lawrence Fishburne. I hope he has more to do, but I really liked him as Perry White. We both like Diane Lane as Ma Kent. Yeah. I'm mixed on Cavill. I just need to see more of him.
I love Cavill as Superman. He's good.
I'm mixed. Of course, you and I think we were both kind of right off the bat. We were kind of one of the, lone people on the internet. They were like, oh, cool, Batman, Ben Affleck. That's going to be good. Mostly because we listened to Kevin Smith all the time. So we just bought into the Kevin Smith hype about it.
He could play the shark from Jaws. Maybe a bit, but I'm saying he definitely has the acting chops for him. I've seen the Town.
Absolutely. I mean, especially his later movies. And
I'm saying the Town and Argo are kind of evidence that this guy could be Batman.
He's been in a lot of good stuff. I just think people give him. He just had the
unfortunately
Jennifer Lopez thing, which is just not. We shouldn't hold that against him.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's been in some bad, really bad stuff too.
Yeah, and I don't even think Daredevil's that bad.
I don't think it's that. That's not what I'm talking about. That's to me. That's
don't get me wrong. It's not like fucking like Christopher Nolan or Avengers level or anything like that.
I'm talking movies like Geely and Reindeer Games. Those are the movies I'm talking about.
Right, and I think those are the kind of movies that people just need to get over because it's like, for God's sakes, people.
And just to be clear, when I said Reindeer. I could be wrong on the name, but I mean the one where he's like with James Gandolfini. That movie, that one's
Reindeer Games. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's okay.
I also remember one from that era called Paycheck, and it was like some sci-fi one.
There's a good one with him and Samuel L. Jackson. He ruined Samuel L. Jackson's life, and then Samuel L. Jackson gets revenge on him the whole movie.
Is that Changing Lanes?
I think so.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. I need to check it out.
That's a good one. Okay, anyway, so Suicide Squad. So essentially, let me lay out. Should I lay out the premise here for you, Tiki?
Go ahead, but just be brief about it.
So basically, this is what we get in the trailer too. They get it right with establishing the premise in the trailer, which I did really like. So basically, Amanda Waller during a steak dinner in this case.
I love that.
She's found her group of villains finally to put together a covert ops team, essentially, with very dangerous people, against supervillains. So basically, she takes a group full of like really dangerous villains, puts them on a government-affiliated team here, and if they get caught, they have plausible deniability, as she mentions in the trailer. So basically, if you go, well, they just broke out. Anything they say, they're lying. And the other option, again, they haven't really mentioned this in the trailer, but I'm sure, yeah, they have to adapt. This is like a huge hook for it. Another reason why they call it Suicide Squad. It's if they get out of line or Amanda Waller is pissed off at them, she pushes a button and their heads blow up. Because they have nanites and they have like either nanites and or a little explosive planted in the base of their neck.
So Waller is kind of the villain in this in a way.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like Waller has good intentions, but she's really the ultimate moral gray. Like this is for good intentions, but really selfish intentions at the same time.
I mean, especially if we're definitely going to be getting onto the side of a character like Harley.
Yeah, because the thing is, I mean, these are villains put on heroic missions. So these are heroic missions, but they're very like they basically, this is like the last resort to the government not trusting heroes like Superman or anything, so they send these guys in. And also, if you want Tiki or anyone out there, if you want to see what the movie should be, I'm saying if I assume the movie's going in a similar direction as this movie, this was like the perfect taste of Suicide Squad. Check out Batman Assault on Arkham. That's the movie right there.
Okay.
As Harley Quinn, as Joker, as Deadshot, as the lead guy, as Captain Boomerang, as them all. Not all of these characters specifically, but I'm saying
because there's definitely some people on this team that
because that's another thing. See, Suicide Squad is always a brilliant idea DC had because basically it's a great premise to put these conflicting personalities together and put them on a heist movie. Basically, it's always a heist movie with these guys, and it's always a cool idea. And again, people who distrust their boss, and their boss can kill them at any second. So everyone dies in the Suicide Squad story. You don't know who's it. One of these characters, I'll guarantee, is going to die in this movie. At least one or two of these characters you're going to see on this team is going to die, Tiki.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't doubt it at all.
And again, it's
I
really
just
cool.
know that it's not going to be Harley or Will Smith.
Yeah, that we know. That we know. Again, we'll see though. However, like there have been other shows like there's Suicide Squad and Arrow again. They're really popular. They pop up now and again. They're in just like animated series, but they have to call them Task Force X. That's what their actual name is, but they nicknamed themselves, as Will Smith does in the trailer, the Suicide Squad.
All right. So I don't want to get I don't think we have the time to go like too beat by beat into the trailer. Like I'd love to do that. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I got the names on the guys, so should I list the guys real quick?
Sure. Let's get our lineup.
Anyway, so we got Harley Quinn. We got Deadshot.
Margot Robbie.
Certainly. You got Deadshot, Will Smith. We got Killer Croc, the bad guy from Thor 2. We got...
and also the bad guy from Oz, one of the bad guys from Oz, and Mr. Echo from Lost.
Okay. We got the Enchantress, and no, not the Thor one, even though Thor one, in my opinion, is cooler. Really, I have no idea what the deal with the Enchantress. She's magically... So this is going to be introducing magic into the DC universe, which would be interesting.
Right.
We have Rick Flag, who is kind of like he's like the only guy who... He's the one government guy who's on the team just to make sure things go right. He's the leader of the team, quote unquote, even though Deadshot's like the real leader. You know? Hello? Tiki, you there?
Yes.
Sorry, you see, I didn't say anything. I was making sure I didn't cut out or something.
No, I'm sorry. It's just I did kind of cut out for a second. I didn't want you to stall.
Okay, anyway, so there's Rick Flag, who's like the guy who just makes sure the mission goes accordingly, even though he's played by Joel Kinnaman, the second RoboCop. You know, the new RoboCop.
The one I don't care about at all.
Fine. Anyway, so that
I don't even care about the first RoboCop, to tell you the truth. I've never seen it.
That breaks my heart a little bit, but
I know I need to. It's one of those things I need to get to.
The point is, Rick Flag, he's a cool character. He's kind of a legacy character who wants to be a good soldier and impress Amanda Waller.
Almost kind of sounds like a Coulson in a way.
In a way, but he works with convicts. He's just that's the idea. Okay, then we got Slipknot. Slipknot essentially is like he's just the other kind of SWAT-looking guy on the team. His specialty is lassos and rope tricks.
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
That's the name. El Diablo is the kind of the Mexican Day of the Dead looking one. The one with the skull painting on his face.
Right, yeah.
That's El Diablo. We got Katana, who's always a cool character. Katana's going to be kind of in the gray because he's usually a hero. At the very least, she turns hero or something because she's on the Outsiders team with Batman in the comics. And the point is, she's like basically a samurai who turns into a superhero.
I like the name. Katana.
Yeah. And her costume is pretty much like brought to screen, like kind of this cool little mask and everything. It'll be interesting to see her. And of course, Piece of Resistance, Captain Boomerang. They might be dropping the captain from his name. We know who he is.
I love it. I love that he seems like a main character too.
And I gotta tell you, I was concerned by the actor playing him, but I mean, in the trailer, he kind of won. Not much to win me over with, but I mean, he looked a little more the part, and he sounded the part because he's played by Jay Courtney, who's really delivered a really sucky performance in that one Die Hard movie.
Let's not even get into Jay Courtney.
So the point is that at least he seems okay in the trailer so far. So we'll see. He can do good.
Yeah, he seems fine.
That way you get some cool. I'm just gonna go to we can go to some cool shots real quick. We saw.
Okay, yeah, really quick. So I love everything that we see of Harley. Oh my god! Like, okay, let's just run through it. Like, her doing that Cirque du Soleil shit in her cell. The whole "Are you the devil?" to Amanda Waller. What do you think of the voice?
Margot Robbie, I think she's doing a good job for Harley. I gotta tell you though, I'm kind of miss like classic comic book Harley Quinn. They might have a reference to it in the thing though, so we'll see if.
I'm sure we'll see the classic costume at some point.
Yeah, because that's kind of another.
They said that there's going to be like 8 different costume changes for Harley throughout.
Yeah, because that's the cool idea with the movie too. With that kind of all the costume changes, like when you're going to see people in street clothes and everything. That's why people kind of freaked out when they saw the initial picture. Like, these guys don't look anything like Suicide Squad. And the idea is like, well, if you're going to go on a covert mission, you can't just go around your costume.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I am sure we'll see Harley in the classic gestures get up at some point.
I was saying, it'd be cool.
There's no way they do this movie without it.
I think she has the ability to play a Harley Quinn. You can always, there's a spectrum of Harley Quinn. Sometimes she can be just completely ditzy. Sometimes she can be like a little too smart for her own good. But I think they got a good balance going on here.
Either way, I think they're doing a really good job of separating it from the animated series version, just in terms of like mannerism and voice and everything like that.
Yeah, so the mix they want to go for, and I think they're going for, is basically she is for this version, also with their Joker, it seems like she's just she's formerly a really brilliant person who has damaged goods now. So she's crazy, but still that person underneath. So that's what I think they're going for. Is like she's really psychologically damaged, like really traumatized, but she's a little wacky, but she is actually smart.
So I just love everything with her. Like, I'm totally sold. I think Margot Robbie is going to do a freaking amazing job. Yeah. I love every part in the trailer where she pops her bubble gum.
I love the little bat thing where she uses the bat as a shotgun.
You're right.
I just love the fact that she has a bat. It's always cool when Harley has a bat, and I would love it if they gave her a mallet in the thing.
Oh, I know. I can't see how we could go this whole movie.
If she doesn't have the costume, they have to give her the mallet.
And seriously, we have to at least see the costume like on display or something like that.
I mean, at the very least, give her the Jester's hat. That's what I'm asking for.
Right.
So in addition to that, she's good. Also, something we should play because something we should say because it starts when she's introduced. The whole "I started a joke" the operatic version.
Yeah, and by the way, I think this is an incredibly operatic trailer.
Oh yeah,
it's just full of bombast.
It is. It's bombastic. It's
bombastic as all hell.
And
I love how it compliments, like, we see all the violence and then we hear like Will Smith like, so that's what we're reduced to, huh?
Patsy.
Suicide Squad. Oh man. Just it really ramps up the emotion and we get into Harley's head and then it's all building up to Leto.
Now with that, real quick, just building to Leto here because it's all leading to it. One, I love we get a shot of we get a robbery going on, like a guy in a panda suit. And one of my favorite things, you see a guy in a Batman mask with cracks. I love that.
I know you can't wait for that.
Okay, that's a real product you can buy. Okay, so important. I rewatched it. I noticed something new, and I was answering to your question, Tiki. You asked me one time about suicide.
The goat mask.
Yes, I know about the goat mask.
Oh, please tell me because I've been like it's bothering the hell out of me.
Well, I don't know everything, but I know something important about it.
Okay.
So that scene, that goat mask guy, those are Joker's henchmen.
Oh man! Oh, that's twisted.
And they're all in different costumes. There's more than just the goat guy. There's like a guy in what looks like a clown suit. Something like that. It looks like a polka dot get-up. We didn't see the face, but it has like
that's kind of fucked up.
And importantly, Harley Quinn is in that room when that guy enters, and she's being strapped down. And Joker straps her down.
Oh shit!
So that is part. It's all part of the flashback to Harley Quinn's origin of Joker messing her up.
Gotcha.
Of course, we get an awesome shot of Batman on top of Joker and Harley's car. I hope you got insurance.
Yeah.
And of course, Joker reveal.
All right, here we go.
I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really badly.
All right, what do you think of Leto? How do you think he's bringing it?
Well, again, I told you with the look of it, I love the pale skin. That's how you get the white Joker.
I'm totally sold on the teeth at this point.
Again, I'm really hoping they give an explanation to, like, because Batman knocked his teeth out so many times. I mean, it's cool. I can forgive the teeth. I wish some of the tattoos were gone, but
I don't think we're gonna see the tattoos much. I mean, like, on the face, it kind of bothers me, but it doesn't. You can't even really notice it that much.
I like the teardrop J, but I don't like the damage on the forehead.
I wish they get rid of that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm hoping for? I'm hoping the idea is kind of like how the Suicide Squad be going through a bunch of costume changes. I'm just hoping in general. I've said this before, so I can say it on here. In general, with the Joker is going forward. If they don't do it in this movie, hope they do in the future. That it's like kind of like the Grant Morrison Joker, where he just reinvents himself each time. So I'm saying maybe just puts on white makeup and he covers up the tattoos.
Oh, okay, I can totally see that. Yeah.
Or like I think the idea is like he either breaks Harley out of prison or he gets broken out of prison. That's why Batman's chasing him, and that was like an impromptu escape, and that's why he still like I'm getting a sense like if he's gonna face Batman, he's gonna look his best and be theatrical. So he's gonna put white makeup over these tattoos.
Okay, gotcha.
We'll see. I'm not sure, but the point is, I think he looks the way. I'm sure his acting will sell at the end of the day, no matter what he looks like.
I know it's too early to tell, but do you think his voice might be a little too similar to Heath Ledger Joker?
Oh, he only said practically said like one line.
I know.
I think it's too close to call because the way he was delivering that to her. It sounded like a little Ledger. I think a lot of that's the teeth, though. A lot of that is the teeth, not so him doing Ledger.
I will give you this, though. The laugh is entirely not Ledger. The laugh is entirely his own thing.
And again, it could be like the ha ha ho he ha ha. But still, I love just him saying, like, again, that's the thing about it. So I'm pretty much the reason this is such a great thing to build to is that the acting on him, just he looks so terrifying, not because of the tattoos, just the performance and the look in his eye.
Oh yeah, that's what I always knew that Leto would get right, man. Is his goddamn eyes?
Because
he's a pro at that.
Because what he's doing, like with either the tattoo things in his hand or whatever, like the thing he's holding in his hand, he's looking like so just casual the way he's saying it at first, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to hurt you. I mean, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad." It's really, really terrifying. Also, here's one thing to speculate on. Important thing. So there's rumors that we might be seeing Jason Todd in this movie, getting a flashback to what happened, and/or they do the whole Red Hood thing, bring him back. We don't know. That could be a connection. I'm getting the sense they're not doing the. I'm getting a strong sense because we know Harley Quinn is strapped to that table. I don't think it's going to be the origin of him doing all stuff to Jason Todd. We might get that in Batman Superman. I don't know. But I'd be impressed if they actually did the Red Hood thing. If they pull off like Enchantress magic and stuff. I'm not saying they use magic to bring them back, but I'm just saying, if they do the thing, if they have Jason Todd in this movie, like they make him Red Hood somehow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying they should or could.
To tell you the truth, I would almost prefer Jason Todd just stay dead, just for the sake of drama.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna mention the
Yeah. The point. Yeah.
I know a spoiler regarding recent Jason Todd.
Yeah. Point is, with Jason Todd though, I'm with you. I would prefer him. For these purposes, they shouldn't bring him back this soon if they are doing it. I'm saying
now if it's Gordon on the other hand.
Of course, but just don't kill Gordon in the first place. No, seriously, however, just one last thing with Jason. Yeah, I'll admit, I don't want him to. I'm just saying, if he's going to be in the movie, there's questioning how he's going to be in the movie. Then again, they could just do the flashback. I don't want him in
the movie at all. I think that'd be a mistake. Flashbacks are totally fine. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a flashback. That's what I'm thinking. It could be a flashback.
I just think if you bring him back like Red Hood style, I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah. There is an actor who's
maybe down the line. You know what I mean? Maybe in like whatever the hell the phases of these movies now are, maybe like a couple phases down the line, do something like that. Right now, I think you need kind of like to build up Batman with the character. I think the Jason Todd thing is going to be a big part of it. And if it's just like automatically you're just like, oh, Jason Todd's back in the mix, I just don't think it's going to play too well. I think you really need that motivation for that.
I agree with you on that. I'm just, yeah. The thing, though, just, yeah, if they did flashbacks, I mean, they'd be welcoming this if they could pull it off, Roach. I'm sure they can if they're going to do Harley Quinn flashbacks. You know, Jason Todd flashbacks.
Sure.
But, you know, or maybe.
Although, if we see a Jason Todd flashback, I would think maybe it'd be in Batman v Superman.
I don't know. Maybe there might be too much crammed in that movie. They got to put in this movie.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. I considering that we see his costume in that trailer, that's the only reason I'm saying that.
That also could explain, like, again, we don't know if this is going to be the thing with Batman jumping on the roof. It could be a flashback to him going in, like, right before he goes into retirement, or him just now. Mm-hmm. But if it's him coming out of retirement, that's a flashback of him chasing Batman, and like the Batman chasing him. And yeah, there's an actor rumored to be in this movie called Scott Eastwood. He's been cast in this movie. We don't know who he's going to be.
Wait, is that the kid from The Longest Ride or whatever?
Well, I mean, he's Clint Eastwood's son.
Yeah. So I heard
he
was really bad in The Longest Ride.
Well, he's been cast in the movie, and he's a young guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if they cast him as Jason Todd, to be honest with you.
I
mean, he kind of looks the part. He's a little old, but I mean, I think for the Robin costume we saw, I think he'd fit into it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm saying I wouldn't mind seeing him.
I'm sorry, we just kind of, like, I'm just looking at the clock. We really need to,
All right, so let's quickly go through Arrow and Flash and Legends, the DC Legends tomorrow. Pretty much just announcements like what we're going to see, which is only like, we're going to get after the train wreck that was season 3, they're kind of readjusting things. It looks
so I've heard.
So it looks like season 4 is going to be a new, lighter, more faithful direction. Like Green Arrow's been a little too serious, and then like season 3 and stuff.
Okay.
So it looks like they're finally going to like lighten him up a little, which is good. He's got a new costume, which looks more faithful to the original costume, which has like exposed arms and stuff, like an archer would have. Yeah, like how Hawkeye has.
Now, how are they doing the flashback structure at this point in the show? Is it still island stuff?
Well, I mean, season 3 was Hong Kong, so the idea is he could get off the island but as long as he ultimately ended up there.
Okay.
So three they kind of complicated it, and usually it didn't pay off well. So eventually he'll be back.
Sounds like Lost. They complicate their flashback structure, and it does not pay off well.
So he has a new suit, and Stephen Amell was at the panel. He was like doing the Q&A, like he just randomly appeared, and it was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And he says, he's in the new costume. It looks really cool on him, and importantly, it looks like this season he's going to be called Green Arrow because his costume looks a lot like Green Arrow.
So he's just been Arrow up to this point.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
I got to tell you, Amell said this really kind of cheesy thing to the press, though, saying like, "You will never see me in that costume again." And now he has a new costume. Get it?
Right.
So you'll never see me in the Arrow costume again, which makes me think, oh, he's now in the Green Arrow costume.
Oh God.
And also we got Neil McDonough, who is apparently that's how you pronounce it. Neil McDonough as I like that guy. Yeah, he's a Dum Dum Dugan from Captain America.
Right, yeah.
So he's playing a character called Damien Dark, who essentially is an old friend of Ra's al Ghul's, who wants to control the League of Assassins. So it looks like he's going to be the bad guy next season, which could be good. He's a good actor.
So where's Ra's al Ghul stand at the end of season 3?
Well, Ra's, she's always dead and coming back, dead and coming back. So right, at this point, he is dead at this point.
Okay.
So, never count him out, but it looks like he's going to stay dead for a while.
Yeah, I hear you.
I guess. Okay, also, so Flash, we just have all we have is characters who've been confirmed. Okay. So we got Jay Garrick, we got Zoom as the bad guy. So basically, it's a way of getting reverse flashback after not having him. But basically, it's a way of getting.
We need to see that monkey guy in the show.
Gorilla Grodd?
Yes.
Well, he was in the first season, so he
was he? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, I need to check that out.
He didn't get killed or anything, so he'll probably be back.
I actually need to check out that. That's actually one of the few superhero shows I'm actually inclined to check out.
So it's a cool way. We got Zoom come back. Essentially, he's the other Reverse Flash, so we'll be seeing him. The way it was left off, let's just say it looks like we're going into another reality in season 2.
Ooh, is it? Would you say Flashpoint reality?
Well, they had references to Flashpoint at the end of season 1, so it looks like it's a similar direction, like an alternate. It's like he's going.
Now I'm really curious.
So essentially, end of season 1, it looks like he's going into Earth 2 or another reality of some sort, like another multiverse.
I need to start watching the show now.
Anyway, so here's the other two. We got three heroes announced along with Zoom, our bad guys. So we got Jay Garrick, who is the older Flash of the other universe.
Oh, nice. Cool. Doing some generational stuff.
Okay. Yep. And we got the Atom Smasher. He is a different. Basically, he's like a Giant Man almost for DC.
Okay.
We got Wally West.
Oh, shit.
So we have next. So that's right, folks. Next season, we have all three Flashes.
Oh, boy. Oh. God damn it, BlueDragonFive. I need to catch myself up and watch this.
And Tiki, season 1, you have Mark Hamill in an episode, and it's the best episode.
Okay, fine. How many episodes is it?
It's 23.
Oh, that's too many, but whatever. I'll do it gradually. When does it start? That you're actually getting me legitimately jazzed.
Well, season 2 probably it starts this year. It's either September or October.
Okay, I need to do some binging.
Okay. So then also with the Legends of Tomorrow, not much. Just basically, in addition to Hawkgirl, we have Hawkman, who's been announced. Which is
Wait,
cool.
Legend of Tomorrow? I don't even know.
Legends of Tomorrow is a show constructed of the spin-off of the other heroes, like I mentioned, like Atom Smasher and stuff. But basically, the characters have been set up in Arrow and Flash. The other heroes.
Shit! So it's like a third Arrow Flash spin-off. Okay.
Yeah, but with all the other heroes, though, so they're making their own team to save the world. It's a time travel show. It's a kind of a Doctor Who type show they're going for.
You lost me there, but okay, sure.
Basically, they've said they're doing that. Basically, this is all the. If you thought in the movies they're not doing enough of the DC universe, in the show here they're doing everything.
Okay.
Basically, they're doing every out there concept in DC universe with this show.
I mean, to be fair, the Suicide Squad trailer did get me to that mindset where, okay, I do think these people are going to throw everything at the wall now, or at least I hope so.
I mean, we got Gorilla Grodd in Flash, and they said they're going even more off the walls than in Flash. I mean, they're doing a lot of time travel in Legends of Tomorrow, so we're going to see that. And we got people with hawk wings, so I think we're going out there. And we have Vandal Savage and Immortal as our bad guy, kind of like Ra's al Ghul. But this is the guy who's older than Ra's al Ghul.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. So that's Legends of Tomorrow. Looks interesting. Okay, so let's get to let's venture a little bit away from Gotham as we have with Arrow and Flash here. Let's get to our animated announcements here, the important stuff.
Okay, this is some big stuff right here.
This, folks, is the long-awaited film we've been waiting since Dark Knight Returns to hear.
Oh yeah.
They finally Bruce Timm. He's come back with Gods and Monsters. It was at his panel on Gods and Monsters. He announced.
Have you seen that yet?
And it comes out next week. Well, I mean, some people
really. It's already on demand for me, but it's just to buy on demand.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's on demand. I prefer getting it on DVD.
Okay. I mean, I would have rented it on demand. I just didn't want to buy it on demand, or else I totally would have watched it.
Yeah, but anyway, so he was doing a panel for Gods and Monsters, and points like he's back. I don't know what his agreement is exactly, but he's just back for a few movies. It looks like. Mm-hmm. And importantly, he's back for Killing Joke. So Bruce Timm's going to.
Hell yeah, Killing Joke.
Yeah, that's right, folks. The story in which we tease the Joker's origin, we paralyze Barbara Gordon, and we torture Jim Gordon.
Oh man, it's going to be fucking beautiful. I can't wait.
And we potentially kill the Joker.
You're right.
It's ambiguous. We don't know.
Oh god. Exactly.
And of course, Mark Hamill's going to finally put his money where his mouth is on this one, because he's always said if they do Killing Joke, I'm there for
it. If he's not, then that would be a tragedy.
That would be the ultimate tragedy. Essentially, this is going to be a swan song to the Joker. This movie.
Oh man.
I mean, this might be it. So all they've said in terms of details for Killing Joke is, again, they just announced it's happening, which is a big deal in itself.
Do we know if it's 2D or 3D or anything like that? I'm assuming it's 2D.
Yeah, it's 2D. It's
okay. Good.
So all it's really been in this. We don't know what the art style is going to be, though. So again, we don't know if they're going to go directly off the page. They do that sometimes, but the art style in this book is really hard to bring to animation.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. This is a book that I've had a long time in my library, so I just pick it up and just admire the art.
It's a great looking book. It's like
it's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Okay, so basically, the only detail they've said, and this is interesting. This makes me think they might be going a Red Hood route with this, perhaps. They said there's going to be a 15-minute prologue to set things up within the movie because it's a short story.
That's very true. I was going to ask you how long they could stretch it out to.
Essentially, it's a 3-act. It's not. I can't even say act because they have flashbacks in it, but it's kind of like it's a 3-story tale. It's the Joker origin or the many origins of Joker. That whole thing. Of course, there's There's Barbara Gordon getting paralyzed. That's a section of it, and the other section is pretty much being Batman. Batman Joker's big ethical dilemma, which also includes the torture of Jim Gordon. So that's the third section.
Oh man! Oh god!
And I could go on about this. The point is they all feed in seamlessly to each other in the way that story is set up. So it's gonna be interesting, given like a 15-minute section of that being kind of a prologue and setting up of the story. So what I'm thinking, I'm not sure if when they say 15-minute prologue, if they mean like they're gonna condense kind of if they're gonna like work with the format to a point, be kind of like Red Hood. You know what I mean? Like how Red Hood has the death of the family
in the first 15 minutes. So you're thinking like maybe that they have the Joker origins in the first 15 minutes?
Something like one of those elements I laid out for you in the 15 minutes.
I honestly hope they don't do that, because the Joker origins work so well within the context of the story when they're put in there.
Yeah. Well, the point is, it's curious. They have a plan on doing this, like making it really count, it sounds like. And then Bruce Timm is the encouraging thing is DC, when they've adapted something straight, and the last time they adapted something straight, which is Dark Knight Returns, it ended up really well.
Fantastic, yes.
And Bruce Timm had a hand in that, so that's a good sign. Those two elements are good signs, and this is them doing it again. And also, like the last thing when they did Assault on Arkham, that was pretty much the last good movie. Whenever they've done things set in the New 52 universe, it's bombed bad.
Right. All right. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that one.
Okay, so they've also just announced two titles, which all we have is titles. After Killing Joke. After Killing Joke, we have Batman Bad Blood.
Ooh, okay, so that could be a whole number of things. I mean, we can speculate on that all day, but what's your top couple choices for it?
Well, I'm saying it's called Batman Bad Blood, and the only detail they've announced is Batwoman will appear in it.
Okay.
So Batwoman's a character I'm not really crazy about. I'm just saying, it's like adding a character that it's always kind of hard to add characters to the Batman team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's kind of the thing I have there. Maybe they'll sell me on her because she's also a bit of a controversial. I shouldn't say controversial. But there's a thing I'm not going to get into where they have like her getting married to somebody, and there's a whole like anti-marriage thing.
Isn't Batgirl technically Barbara Gordon, who technically became Oracle?
No, this is Batwoman.
Oh, okay. I have no
Batwoman.
idea who the fuck Batwoman is.
That's the thing. See, I barely know who she is myself, and she's I just don't really jive towards her. She's just like she's an excess element to the Batman universe I don't really care about. But maybe they'll change that. I don't know.
But I mean, it's like look at what Marvel does with their sort of like excess characters. It's like you've been raving about Ant-Man, so.
I'll tell you this though, I'm worried about one thing though. Just with a title like Batman Bad Blood, I'm terrified that it's going to be. It's going to be set in the New 52 verse they got going on, because I'm just saying the title kind of fits what they've done with the terrible Batman and Son movies. There's Batman and Son, and there's Batman v versus Robin. Sorry, it's not V. It's Batman versus Robin.
God damn you, WB! You got that in our heads.
And essentially,
everything is a court case now.
And the way that ends is like just as Robin out on his own, so Batman's alone. And I'm worried that it's going to be like, oh well, now Batman has a new sidekick to worry about. It's like, oh, don't do that. God. So it could be. I'm hoping it's going to be the opposite of that. I'm hoping it's going to be not set in that. I'm hoping it's going to be its own like original story.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm sorry. I might have heard that these two stories might be original. I forget what I said about the worry there. So I hear these next two movies are going to be like original stories. So they're going to be not set in the New 52 verse, from what I understand.
Okay.
Sorry. So basically, there's Batman Bad Blood with Batwoman being introduced, which could be good. I don't know. They have to sell me on her. Then there's Justice League versus Teen Titans.
Justice League versus Teen Titans.
So another verse.
I hope it's not the Teen Titans Go. I hope that much.
If it is, I really hope the Justice League is really brutal with them.
That would be fucking amazing.
I mean, I want Batman to punch the little Teen Titans square in the face like a few times. It's like bam, bam, bam with the Adam West size, the pow zap onomatopoeic things whenever he's doing it. Pow zap, wham.
Yes, make that happen.
I have a lot of hate for Teen Titans Go. I love Teen Titans. I hate Teen Titans Go.
The only thing I've ever seen of Teen Titans Go that made me like like be like, okay, they referenced that and I like that. Good job. Is they did a DuckTales parody one time, and I was like, okay, good job. You did a DuckTales parody.
But anyway,
what else can you do? What else can you do?
But anyway, so with this, it sounds like if I'm right with that whole like these other two aside from Killing Joke are going to be like original stories. It gives me hope. I mean, it could be cool, Justice League versus Teen Titans, but again, it could be forced. I'm worried about that part of it. But we don't know anything about it. It's just the title. That's all we have. So
it's intriguing, though.
That might be good. I mean, people have mad love for Teen Titans. I really hope. Here's one thing, though. I don't want them to put Cyborg on the Justice League if they're going to have the Teen Titans. I'm going to really hate that if they have like that.
Well, what if it's one of those things where he's kind of like he graduated from the Teen Titans and now he's on the Justice League, but he's kind of caught between sides?
I don't know. I hope they don't. If they make it like Civil War, it's going to be a little strange.
Oh no.
Okay. So let's get to that.
He's in here, but he has his microphone on.
Well, don't address him. He's not here. No one sees him.
Okay, I mean, England, if you just want to hang out, that's fine. If not, whatever. I sent both of them a link, and I was like, yeah, come hang out if you're bored waiting for us. So.
Okay, so we got Gotham.
Whoa.
Hello?
Hey.
What's going on?
No, I was being polite. I mean, fine.
Oh,
I didn't have my microphones ready, so I didn't want to like jump in and be like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on?"
Echo. So where are you guys at? You talking about the Comic-Con trailers? It sounds like.
Well, we just got done with Batman v Superman.
Suicide Squad.
We're talking over the animated stuff.
We're on the DC stuff. We're just finishing up on DC, and we get into a few other things.
All right. Well, don't let me just derail you. I'm just gonna like come in and say, "Hey, everybody." So.
Hello.
Keep going. I'll comment.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, speaking of hello.
Oh
I'm
God.
Oswald Cobblepot. Yeah, it's done. Okay, so
did you have the fortunate, the great fortune of watching Gotham season 1 all the way through? I'll take that as a no. He's just like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Fuck Barbara.
No, did I watch Gotham? No, I didn't watch it. Well, here's what's weird, all right? So I watched the first 2 episodes, found them incredibly boring, and my mother, 50-some-odd-year-old mother,
got into it.
Absolutely loves it. Oh my God, it's
That's
her favorite
hilarious.
show. And now,
great.
granted, my mother grew up with comic books. In fact, that's where I inherited the comic books from, her collection. But yeah, she absolutely adored this show. I just don't see it.
It was certainly a wild ride. I mean, I don't think at this point me and BlueDragonFive can just sit here with a straight face and say it's a damn good show or anything like that.
It is.
She does.
I like it.
No, she puts it right up there with 24, which was another show that I watched a couple episodes of, and I was kind of like, okay, I get it, and stopped watching.
24 season 5 was really good just because of that one actor who played the president. Other than that, I can't really watch that show.
So what? You got to make it through five seasons?
No. I think all the seasons are pretty much self-contained.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my parents love 24. They love Gotham. Love it. I mean, I can't explain how much like like when I went home for Christmas, my mom wanted to talk about Gotham because she thought I loved it, and I'm like,
who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character?
Well, I don't know.
Don't say Barbara.
2 episodes. No, and she's like, no, it's great. You know, like you're gonna see this guy he's gonna become the Joker. And this guy's gonna become the Riddler.
Which guy in particular was she talking about with the Joker? Because there's multiple options.
Hell if I know. I mean, she's like got all these. It's funny because she's talking about it like a fanboy, but
oh no,
I am a fanboy, and I sit there and I look at it and I'm like, okay, this is kind of like I don't get it. You know, I'd rather watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 3 than this.
Oh, that's harsh. Oh man. Oh man, that's fighting words right there.
Season 3 hasn't happened yet, guys.
Okay. season,
but just saying you'd rather watch
season
Agents
2 and a
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
half.
in general.
Yeah. Oh, well,
All
I
right.
thought the first season was okay, but, my point is, I think they've hit something interesting here because, like my mom likes it. So maybe this will draw her into the theater. She doesn't like to watch movies. She doesn't like to go to the movies because she likes movies that are upbeat. And she's tired of specifically superhero movies. And remember, I did mention my mom collected comic books as a kid. This is what she grew up with. So she really did grow up with the original Batman. She watched as a teenager, the 60s series, as a 10 to, 16, 17-year-old, because she went to college in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And, she is a fan. She's a fan of a generation where it wasn't cool to be a fan. And she loves this show, and I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I'll stop there, but I just
right,
she wants to talk about where are these characters going to go, and I have no clue. I really don't.
All right, BlueDragonFive, where are these characters going to go? Answer England's mom's question.
So Gotham season 2. Here's what's been they talked about the panel and just kind of in general the news with the show. Season 2, what's going to bring.
Oh boy.
So here's the villains we're going to get. We're going to get Mr. Freeze.
That's exciting, actually. I can get behind Mr. Freeze.
We're going to get the Mad Hatter.
Okay. I mean, of course, the problem with Gotham is that they just throw all these characters at the wall, and none of them really stick for the most part.
And we got Clayface.
Clayface. I mean, if they do something to the extent of what they, but then again, there's so many characters now. It's like they have to further develop Enigma. They have to further develop the Penguin. They have Gilzine floating in the air.
But look, to be fair, again, look, season 1 wasn't perfect, but I thought it was pretty. Pretty good. And then basically they're figuring things out.
Don't start on me, BlueDragonFive, because you were very close to freaking giving up at multiple points because of Barbara.
No, I gave up.
That show almost broke you.
No, it broke me on Barbara. I like the show. I hate Barbara.
You just acknowledge that Barbara is just awful.
Yeah, she is awful. There's no question about her being awful. It doesn't mean the show's awful, just she's awful.
I have a question. Since you guys have been following it, you've watched it.
Yeah.
Is this going to tie into the greater DC universe? Is this going to be their version of it?
No, it's its own thing. It's kind of set apart from
It's completely its own thing.
Eventually he'll become Batman. That's years down the line, though.
Right. And he'll be played by Dylan from Bates Motel.
Well, no, you don't listen to him, but it's just my wish fulfillment.
This is more like Smallville, right?
Yeah, essentially.
It's Gotham. It's Batman Smallville.
Essentially.
Okay. All right. Yeah, still not interested.
Okay.
But my 50-year-old mother loves it, so or 60-year-old now, I guess. But
all right. Let's see who else. Anyone returning that is kind of a surprise at all?
Well, I had other news to go through, but
sure, go for it.
So the point is, from the panel, what it sounds like they actually have thought more about season 2. Basically, 2 is the show they wanted to do from the beginning. Again, season 1 was them figuring stuff out and just seeing if they get away.
Season 1 was definitely throwing a lot of stuff at the wall.
Seeing what sticks. You're right. You're right to a degree. They were seeing what sticks, and now they know what sticks, and now they have more of a grand plan for season 2. It sounds like they actually have a plan.
Okay.
Because remember, they had a shorter season in mind. They had to expand it, and that kind of threw things
That's
off.
very true. Yeah, that's a good point.
You gotta give them some credit with that. It's a little bit of credit.
Because they stretch shit the hell out. Yeah.
So with that, I'm gonna mention. So again, when I mentioned they're gonna have Mr. Freeze, Mad Hatter, and Cleavis, I don't think they're gonna have them be instantly who they are. Again, it's just gonna be the Victor Freeze, the scientist, and his wife.
But that's kind of one of my problems with the show is that they throw it's are we going to get any sort of resolution at all with characters like Scarecrow?
No, I'm sure he's going to come back. They had mentioned if he was coming back at the panel, but I'm sure he's going to come back.
Characters like Harvey Dent is freaking just floating out there a red shirt.
No, he's coming back. See, he has a bigger role in season 2.
Because in season 1, he was just nothing. He was a non-entity.
Yeah, he's actually going to be a regular in season 2, according to them. So
Okay,
again, now what they've said, here's the news they've actually said. Okay, so season 2's main theme is going to be kind of the rise of the villain. So Gotham's going to get more theatrical this season. So we are going to see like more of the super villainy come to play in this season.
Mm-hmm.
So like, now it's just like them just kind of throwing stuff just to introduce like. Basically, it was more mob controlled. Now Penguin has kind of settled the mob problem, being the main guy in charge. People are going to try to dethrone him, and we're going to see Penguin now having a lot of power and being like a really smart guy and being able to upsert anyone who's going to try to take his power.
For sure.
So we're going to see Penguin at the top of things, and basically, it sounds like season 2 is going to be people starting to fit into their roles they're ultimately going to fill. You know, like now Jim Gordon has seen how Gotham really is. His idealism has been shaken, but he's still determined to make it that way. You know, but now he knows how bad Gotham really is, and it's going to get worse.
And Gordon's got Bullock a little bit more on his side.
Yes, and Bullock's, now he's a little more they've said that Bullock's going to be a little more optimistic, and on Gordon getting to the Bullock we all know.
Right.
So we're going to see some. Sorry, one.
Well, I was going to say, so basically, should I look at this as someone who hasn't watched the original? Should I go back and watch season 1 because season 2 is going to be more intellectual, or how should I view this?
Well, optimistically, I would say, watch 1 again, then so you can go into 2, because you can basically.
Just know that every scene with Barbara is going to be terrible, and just laugh at it like it's The Room or something, and you'll be good.
I don't even remember who Barbara is. I'm gonna have to Google that.
It's Gordon's fiance.
Yeah, so basically, there's only in my opinion, there's 2 major weak points to the first season of Gotham. 1, Barbara, obviously. And then 2, the second half of the Fish Mooney stuff it drags for a portion when she's in prison with the doll maker. It drags.
It drags a little, yeah.
Oh.
Those to me are kind of that's like during like the second, how they break the seasons in half, like the winter breaks and stuff.
I mean, the second half definitely had some really good episodes in it, but it also had some pretty filler episodes as well.
It's just the Fish Mooney stuff just.
Oh God, and the Peter Petrelli stuff went on way too long.
Yeah, that's pretty much all Barbara stuff. So it's kind of
you don't have to watch the Peter Petrelli episodes at all, really.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
and
so
those come like right at the end of the season.
You know what you guys should do right before the second seasons come out is come out with a. These are the episodes you need to see for the second season, because
we'll be doing something like that.
That actually sounds like a good idea, though, because considering it's like, I don't think all of the episodes of Gotham necessarily you need to watch, but there's certainly some of them that fit into a grander context.
What I'm hearing right now actually is intriguing. I actually like the idea of a young Mr. Freeze, and watching Dr. Freeze over, a series of seasons develop to who he is. That makes sense.
Like I said, that's the problem with the show sometimes, is that they had a couple really good arcs, like Penguin and Edward Nygma being developed throughout a whole season. That worked really well.
Yeah.
On the flip side of things, we also have characters like Harvey Dent and the Scarecrow and stuff like that, who basically just get thrown into it and then thrown out just as quickly.
Now look, to be fair, Scarecrow was set up to return.
I understand that, but I don't have any confidence that if he is going to return, it's just going to be like, oh, he's the Scarecrow now, and we're going to fight him for an episode.
I think it could go a couple different ways. I mean, again, remember, I have not seen all of this. I watched the pilot, I watched a couple episodes, and then when I was there for Christmas, I saw some parts of it because my mom had to catch up. And it doesn't interest me at all. But I can see how turning it into a Smallville sort of thing. And how long did Smallville run? Was it? It was like 7 or 8 series.
10 seasons.
10 seasons. I mean,
ridiculously long for a sci-fi show.
Yeah.
Well, the last couple seasons were kind of bad, as I recall. Once they went to Metropolis, I think I kind of lost interest.
Yeah, I just needed 3 seasons and then the last 2 minutes of the show. Really, that's all I needed.
But I could see this turning into something good. I just, from what I've seen, it's not good.
It's rough around the edges for sure.
What do you think would make it better? I mean, between the two of you, since you've watched
a more cohesive storyline and less like case of the week kind of episodes. Like less of a procedural format and more of like an ongoing arc sort of format.
Right.
I mean, they had ongoing arcs for sure, especially with the Penguin and stuff like that. But a lot of the episodes, in retrospect, looking back on it, it's like, okay, like for example, Blue Dragon 5, I'm just gonna throw one there randomly, like let's say the Spirit of the Goat. That was a decent episode that had some really good moments with Bullock. In the grand scheme of things, did we need anything from that episode?
That was a it was a neat one-off, and it kind of connects to the overall idea of like we had guys like Balloon Man and the Spirit of the Goat, and then we had like the kid from Arkham, the arsonist from Arkham.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's one of those things, Blue Dragon 5. You know what I mean? Where it's like, or I'm sorry, fucking England, where it's you get a lot of episodes, and it's kind of a procedural sort of thing, but. I think it'd work better if they concentrated less on the procedural element. I think they need to get kind of like a more wide spectrum like storyline going on.
Yeah. Anyway, so a few more things real quick. So they said they're adding new heroes to the show, which again, where's Christmas Allen? Again, he's dead. Christmas Allen was the cop you might have seen in the pilot who never came back, and it's pretty much how it went. He's pretty much
back. The brother from Happy Days who dribbled the basketball.
He's like Chuck from Happy Days. The thing is, he shows up occasionally, does nothing. And he
literally will like show up in the background every like 5 to 6 episodes or so and do nothing at all.
So the point is, they said they're going to introduce new heroes. So that means they're going to have like new hero characters on it. Which I could speculate is like I just say bring back Christmas Allen, give him something to do. That's what I'm saying. But I can't really think because again they said Harvey Dent and Lucius Fox I'm sure have bigger roles next season.
Lucius Fox was definitely set up well at the end.
I'm sure Lucius Fox will have a bigger role. I mean he was probably one of those heroes they're referring to. We know Harvey Dent is going to be a regular on the show for this season too.
That's good because like I said in season 1 he was a red shirt.
There are 2 cop characters I'd be interested to see as long as like kind of heroes. One in particular, I love to see Merkel introduced. Now, Merkel is kind of like Gordon's sidekick at the police, but he's like another idealistic cop who's kind of like
Don't say that. I love the idea of Bullock and Gordon as sidekicks.
No, it's not so like they're partners. I'm saying this is like a sidekick, like a guy just like the young guy in the room who's always saying he just looks up to Gordon, you know.
Okay, I gotcha.
So, this guy's called Merkel, and he was like introduced in year 1, and he's in Dark Knight Returns. Basically, whenever Gordon says, hey, "Go do this, Merkel," he's like the running guy. He's like Ted Raimi's character from Spider-Man. Remember, like Sam, J. Jonah Jameson's little editor guy. Pretty much, that's kind of the role Merkel. He doesn't serve a big role, but he's kind of a nice role. Could give him some stuff to do, maybe.
Okay.
I'm just saying he's one I could always think of. They never give Merkel enough to do in the comics. Just forgot about him. It'd be nice to bring him back. And there's this other character who's interesting. He's called Jim Corrigan. Now, Jim Corrigan has a story that ties into Christmas Allen, which would be a way to bring Christmas Allen back into the fray.
Of course he does.
And
Christmas Allen is like the linchpin to this whole thing.
And the idea is, with Jim Corrigan, he became a dirty cop, and he getting Christmas Allen killed.
Oh dear.
Now I'm not
saying
saying
where this is going.
No, but seriously, Jim Corrigan could be an interesting case of like bringing a corrupt cop onto the force who started out looking idealistic, but then took.
It's like Essence just walks in like, "Hey Jim, did you notice that Allen guy has just been like missing for like 6 months? We need to do like some sort of missing persons report."
Well, I'm not saying they go this route, but technically they both became ghosts.
Right.
I'm serious. No, they both became ghost characters. They both became the Spectre.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, so those are the only 2 characters I can really think of to be added to be heroes. At the top of my head, I can't really think of any at the moment. So here's what they're doing with Barbara. So
what are they doing with Barbara?
I googled it. I'm gonna toss in my 2 cents. I now know who Barbara is, and I know what your complaints are. So I've only seen a couple episodes, so yeah.
Yeah,
you should know. I have a burning hatred of this Barbara.
Oh my god! Go back and listen to our podcast every time we get to Barbara. It's fucking amazing.
I really hate Barbara.
I get it. Go ahead.
And honestly, I'm kind of on the side of the fence that it's like I've switched around a little bit. Where
essentially, it's like he feels the way I feel about Inspector Gadget Christmas with
Barbara. So bad that I just find it amusing. I'm just like, what the hell kind of batshit craziness are they going to get her into next?
She's a plot convenience. That's all I took from it. well, anyway, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
England, she's terrible and stupid, and she should die. But no, but
And there
seriously.
were multiple times last season where they could have done that, and they didn't.
Yes. Okay, now, importantly, however, again, I'm being completely objective here. Is what they've said sounds at least salvageable with her.
Is it the Arkham stuff we were speculating about?
It sounds like they're going in that direction.
Cool.
So that's what I'm saying. So it sounds salvageable the way they're going. So they're not going to have to be delusional and say, oh, they can get back together. It sounds like they're not doing that. They're smart enough not to do that.
That is, that'd be.
But here's what they've said. They said Barbara's going to be embraced. She's going to be getting crazier and crazier in Arkham. It sounds like.
So she's going to become Harley Quinn.
Well, no, England, don't say that, please. Don't say that.
We actually did have a theory. What was our theory, Blue Dragon?
Chase Meridian.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember Chase Meridian from Batman Forever? Nicole Kidman, the psychiatrist.
The psychiatrist, they just wanted to sleep with Batman. Remember? The one who really sucked at her job.
Yeah, the most terrible Batman love interest ever, essentially. No, not ringing a bell.
Again, anyway, so the point is, like they said, they're definitely embracing the crazy, and that'll be her arc. It's gonna be interesting, and the way they sold her arc made it sound like it's gonna be a lot better than she was in the first season. Again, it's a lost cause for a character that was supposed to be kind of a different way in general. But I mean, the idea is like she's gonna be. It'll be a story of like her being satisfied, her accepting that she's crazy, almost like an acceptance of being completely off her rocker.
Right.
So
Which
basically,
I think is interesting.
It's like her seeing.
I mean, like I said, anything to give us an excuse to make that character just crazier and crazier is fine by me.
And what might be interesting, again, so a big plot line of season 2, and this might, I don't know, maybe, I'm not saying I don't want directly to tie into Barbara, I think thematically to tie into Barbara was the whole thing of insanity. Now, Joker is going to have a bigger role this season. Now, we know Cameron Monaghan will be back as Jerome. Now, they said, they've been ambiguous about this, they didn't say anything about it at the panel, but all we know about him is that he will somehow tie into the DNA of the Joker, whatever that means. So we don't know, it's ambiguous. So they have a plan, I think they're still going to be teasing Joker now and again, so they got a plan, I'm going to give them some faith, see where they go with it, you know?
Alright.
We'll I did like Cameron Monaghan as Jerome, though. He was good as Jerome, remember?
Yeah, I do. I think you liked him a little bit more than I did.
And importantly, not importantly, but he was really funny about the panel. They had a gag. They had a really nice gag at the panel. They did a Q&A, and basically it was planted in there. So Cameron Monaghan crashed the panel as Jerome. And he says, I'm a big fan of your work, Detective Gordon. What's your threshold for pain? And then basically he's hauled away by security because he cut in front of a guy in line or something. And he's just laughing maniacally, and then Ben McKenzie stands up and he says, I will find you, Jerome!
Okay.
He's yelling at him, Jerome! I'll find you!
So they're definitely, I don't know, I think if they make him the Joker, it'd just be a little too obvious. That's
there's an image of him in a straitjacket, but so we don't officially, he's going to tie into the Joker somehow. I'm not saying they're going to make him the Joker.
Right.
However, if he was the Joker, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, I don't think.
I mean, I don't know. I just think it'd be too obvious.
Yeah, I thought it was fun as the character, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go a little more high concept with it. That's being optimistic. Okay, so let's go to some odds and ends shows. Tiki, what do you got?
Okay, well, I guess the only thing I have, I'm sure Steven Universe and Gravity Falls and all that stuff had Comic-Con panels. I just never checked any of it out, so I apologize if I'm a little behind in terms of that. But the one show that I do have that I don't know if either of you care about is The Walking Dead. Yes.
Not a care in the world.
Well, that's right down my alley, so go ahead.
Really? You like Walking Dead?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
I did not like this last season, but I love
I disagree with you.
Dude, I'm from Atlanta. Did you think I not like Walking Dead? I see those images and I'm like, oh, I drive there every day. So,
You've just never talked about it.
No, but go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, in terms of you not liking Season 5, I actually am of the opinion that I think the show kind of gets better with age. I think that the more and more you get into the zombie apocalypse and the more and more that society sort of starts to break down, I think that's the really interesting thing about the show and how I think the show right now... Okay, it's like, of course, Season 1, no one can argue that had Davenport on it. and of course Shawshank, everything like that. It had a look to it that I don't think can be replicated, and it probably had more artistic merit to it. But I'm just saying, in terms of just sheer drama, sheer just raw, just crap going down. I don't know. What didn't you like about the last season?
Exactly everything you just said.
The drama and all the crap going down?
The drama and all the crap going down, the interlaced storylines. They're I really think they lost their way with Terminus. I think Terminus should have been the focus of the last season.
Okay, I'll tell you the problem I had with last season. I definitely think last season was Terminus got over with too early, and I absolutely hated the hospital storyline.
Yes. Okay, I agree.
The storyline was freaking awful, and I hated every episode of that.
Yeah, they were at Grady. They were at Grady Hospital in downtown Atlanta, and it was just so forced. I mean, the whole thing felt. Here's my problem: is they're turning him into a badass, and he is a badass. Don't get me wrong. Yes, Rick. But now they're in this new dynamic, and it feels to me just like a repeat of what was it, season 2 with the governor.
Farm.
With the governor. No, season 3 with the governor.
Woodbury was season 3.
Yeah, this is just a repeat of that. He's going to come out, he's going to be a badass, he's going to have his emotional lows, but the series can't kill him off because he's a series, everybody loves him, as a character. And unfortunately, I don't see it. I don't feel this past season, and I don't feel excited about the next season. It just doesn't get me.
Well, I'll give you the key difference between Woodbury and Alexandria. And Greg, do you read the comics?
I've read them. Well, I've read some of them, and I've played the video games. The video games are great, by the way.
They're amazing, but I don't. Yeah. They're kind of their own thing.
Exactly.
But the key difference between Alexandria and Woodbury is all the people in Woodbury basically had already been exposed to the zombies, and they had already been living in somewhat hellish conditions before they got there. And then Alexandria, on the other hand, everyone there is like they just got lucky, and they're living under the shade of like, yeah, we know what's going on. We know that there's zombies, but they never had to go out in it. So I thought that just the dichotomy of Rick and his group, when they get into Alexandria, they're just looking like straight up like crazy homeless people.
Yeah, but here's what I think really ruins it is, remember, they recruited them.
Sure.
Remember?
Sure. Yeah.
They knew they had this weakness, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, we don't have this weakness. And, I get the whole dichotomy. They're going to make this a story about how they can't control, I suspect they can't control the wildness of the outside.
Which really is what the whole series is all about.
But, I don't know, man. I'm not into this next. I'll watch it. I'll watch everything.
Okay, well, did you see the Comic-Con trailer? Because that's what we need to talk about.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll lay out the Comic-Con trailer for you then.
Okay. All right, can you give me a second to watch it while you talk about it?
It's like 4 minutes long. I'd rather I just tell you, honestly.
All right.
So basically what it is, and you're right, it is kind of like you called it, it seems like there's going to be a divide. It seems like Rick and his people definitely want to do that sort of divide and conquer thing where they don't think the people of Alexandria are going to be strong enough to fend for themselves. People of Alexandria, obviously, after the events of Season 5, they don't trust Rick. All kinds of turbulence is going to go down for that. But let me tell you the thing about Season 5 that really hooks me in, and that's the character of Morgan. Because they spent so much time teasing out Morgan. Like, literally, it's like we see him once in Season 3, we don't see him at all in Season 4, and then literally Season 5, we see him like 3 times kind of wandering around, and it's not until the... Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I did. I didn't. I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said really.
No, I said right.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. And so basically, the big conflict is going to be Morgan versus Rick, and that's going to be really fascinating, I think, because Morgan and Rick are, they were the two people that encountered each other first when they got into the kind of post-apocalyptic zombie world, and their path has just gone so similar and yet so diametrically opposite at the same time, because Morgan at one point, I think probably the best episode of the entire series, or at least one of the best, is Clear from season 3. You remember that one, right?
That's when they went and they met Morgan again, right? And
they met Morgan again, and he was all blockaded up, and he was all traumatized by his kid and everything.
Yep, great episode. Great.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Now, I'll admit I'm a little bit skeptical of this whole Morgan's now like a freaking, like a zombie Jedi now. But I don't know. He seems like he's zenned out. He seems like he's just gone through this long transformation, and basically Morgan, he's been in such grief for so long that he's just kind of had time to just go through this insane, like, emotional kind of just, processing, and he's kind of come out the other side of it. Meanwhile, Rick, the whole thing about Rick is that I feel like the dynamic with Rick on the show that they're exploring is that every season I think Rick gets closer and closer to what Shane was.
It's a common observation, but yeah, especially the ending of the last season. I mean,
and I think at this point, I would even wager to say that the Rick of season 5 is worse than the Shane of season 2.
Yeah, I could see that.
I would wager to say, so, like, to me, it's not really like a Heisenberg thing or anything like that. It's more of like Rick is the main character, and I think they've done a good job. I think Andrew Lincoln plays it well. I think the show does a terrific job of keeping the supporting cast engaging, even though I feel like their screen time could be a little bit more evenly divided, although that's a different thing. Yeah. But what do you think of the whole Rick versus Morgan conflict? Because from the trailer, that seems like that's mainly what the season's going to focus on, at least the first 8 episodes.
I think so. I just, I think that will be interesting. I think they're a season late. I think they're a season late in the development of the Rick character, in the sense that, he's faced external challenges, and I think, when you take the Morgan character, who's the isolationist, he wants to be on his own. He obviously, even the character he plays now, like you said, he's connected with this world. He gets it now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas you take Rick, and Rick is still he still believes in community. He just doesn't believe in the type of community that's ignorant for what the threat really is. And
see, I feel like the difference now is that Rick, he doesn't believe in community necessarily. He believes in a very warped concept of family, and that warped concept of family is, the people that he's protected and that have protected him. And for him, that's his family now, and he will freaking kill anyone who gets in the way of that.
Yeah, but by the same right, why would Morgan feel any different? I mean, this is the guy who literally...
Because Morgan hasn't been with people. That's why.
So wait. So you take someone and you isolate them emotionally and physically and every aspect. He isolated himself. That's what we've seen so far in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take Rick, who has led people, and then you put both of them in. Why would Alexandria turn to Morgan?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. That'll all come into context. I assume the reason is just because Morgan, he tells the Alexandrians that he knows how to deal with Rick, and they're just like, do it. I don't know. To me, it's an interesting dynamic. No. I just think that Rick is kind of like not necessarily like Rick is still the hero in his own mind, but we as an audience have kind of veered in a different direction. I feel like it's kind of reached an interesting place when it comes to that.
Well, again, I mean, I think they're going to go in a. Here's what worries me. I think they're going to go in a predictable way.
Okay.
And that's where this series, at least the first 4 seasons, really kind of went in a different way. And then, when you had Terminus, when they left it up at the end of the season, I was like, oh shit, where is this going to go? And they wrapped it up within 2 episodes. And
I don't think they're going to do the same thing with Alexandria.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think there's a
you're
lot
right.
of story to go on with Alexandria.
I hope you're right, but
I'm just okay. I am saying this with the context of the comic book as well, so keep that in mind.
right.
So, I'm sorry, BlueDragonFive. He's kind of tried to shush us along.
Yeah, well,
No, it's just
there-
coughing. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But
Well, I think we should probably move forward though. So that's
Yeah.
a good conversation.
I'll go watch the trailer. Maybe I'll change my mind. But
It's a good trailer. It's a good trailer. I mean, although it's not necessarily going to change your mind on like if you're not against the whole turn of Rick, being a dictator sort of figure.
I am totally for that.
You're totally for it. I mean,
yeah.
They definitely like showcase that.
Yeah, they need to take Rick and break him down. And I
That's
think
what
they're
I'm
going to
saying.
go
And that's
that
what I
way.
think they're going to do. I think Rick, I think he's just going to get so power hungry that his whole character, like all the shreds of dignity that he's tried to hold on to, are just going to fall apart.
What I want to see is the breakup of the Trinity, if you will. I want to see Rick. I want to see the girl.
Daryl and Carol.
Daryl. Yeah, I want to see them gone. Well, no, Carol. I could give a shit about Carol. Her storyline is over. She needs to go away.
I very much disagree, but we
Well,
won't get into that.
this isn't a Walking Dead thing, but
To tell you the truth, I'm kind of over Daryl at this point, and I know that's an incredibly unpopular opinion.
No,
but I'm just like, all right, I get it. He's like a badass crossbow guy.
Yeah, I agree. No, what I want to see is here's the difference between Daryl in season 1 and season 2 and Daryl today. Today, he's a badass. Back in the original, first 2 seasons, he was just a country boy who was good with his, he knew how to survive. Yeah.
It's the difference between you're a Lord of the Rings fan, so I think you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
It's the difference between Legolas and Fellowship of the Ring, and then in Two Towers and Return of the King.
Exactly.
Where in Fellowship of the Ring, he's just like a silent badass with a bow who doesn't really get even that much focus, but when you see him, you're like, oh, a cool badass with a bow, yeah. But then, like, Return of the King, it's like, how freaking obnoxious was it when he killed that elephant and everything like that? My dad hates that. My dad can't stand that.
With him, they need to bring him back to heart. And, he's become too much of a trope. And that's the problem with the entire series right now, is they need to break, if they're going to do anything for me this season, they need to break all the tropes.
Fair enough. There's definitely some characters coming up on the horizon that have not been introduced yet that I know about in the comic books. Let me just say, it would twist things the hell up. Like, the comic book has just a wealth of material that they could go off of. That's the promising thing for the show.
The only thing is they've already departed from the comic book, so that's one of the things I do like. I
like that they've departed from the comic book, though, because I like that it makes it its own thing.
Exactly.
Like, we have story beats from the comic book, but it's not like a beat-by-beat interpretation of the comic.
Well, I was going to say, just like Game of Thrones, I like watching Game of Thrones even though I've read the novels, because,
sure.
I don't know where it's going to go, and that's the same with Walking Dead. So, I hear you, I know where they could go, but I think in this season what they really need to do is break apart what they've done the last 3 seasons. And if they do that, I'll be really excited. If they don't, if they play into those tropes that they've set up,
I hear you.
I think this is it for me. I won't watch. I'll watch the next season on not this season, but the whatever 20.
Season 7.
Yeah, I'll watch that on Netflix or something.
Okay.
I don't really care to keep up with it. So I think it's a good place to end it. Good?
Yeah. Let's just really quickly, like, we have about, I'd say maybe 20 minutes left, so let's quickly do some rapid fire stuff at the end.
All right.
Dragon, do you want to do a separate thing for Star Wars at a later date?
Aaron will do a separate thing for Star Wars.
Okay, I'm just saying.
We still got
And
more.
it fits because Star Wars is the one Disney-related thing here, and this is a Kickback Cafe.
Should we
So
say
we're not talking about Star Wars.
Should we say Once Upon a Time along with Star Wars because that's Disney related too?
Well, Once Upon a Time, let's just get that out of the way really quick because it's kind of a bullet point.
Basically,
so England, on Once Upon a Time, they're doing Brave.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited?
I sound it, right? Yeah.
You totally do.
I mean,
Can't get any better than Frozen, though.
well, they shoved Frozen in, but at least they saved it by the end of the, end of the
I
season.
actually thought the Frozen stuff was good. But
It was
that's
all right. I mean, they could have been worse, but by the end of the season, they saved it. I feel like Once Upon a Time, it's the same sort of thing as we were just talking about. They're grasping at straws. It does really well on the ratings, but
we've had this conversation before. But I think that show has way too much convoluted magic that they can just pull anything they want plot wise out and just like, here, magic shit.
Me, I don't mind the magic. That's a reverse because usually I'm a guy against magic.
No, that's the thing that I hate about the show is the magic.
I think they've gotten away from the original premise. And the original premise in the first 2 seasons was we're going to tell you this story that you already know in a different way. The one that really caught me was the Red Riding Hood. Do you remember that episode, the original Red Riding Hood episode?
We haven't watched any of them besides the Frozen.
See, the thing is, we jumped in blind, starting with Frozen.
It was kind of part of the gag of our Frozen recap.
If you watch the first 2 seasons, they were really interesting. And then after that, it kind of got like, okay, wow, we didn't think we would get renewed, so let's do something.
They started didn't they do Mulan at one point, which seemed entirely...
Well, I think they're doing her now, aren't they? Or did they?
Well, no, they already did Mulan. They already introduced Mulan. Get this shit. Was actually a love interest of Prince whatever the fuck his name
Charming.
is. No, it wasn't Charming.
Oh, it wasn't Charming?
Yeah, well, no, maybe you're right. It was
David?
Charming. Sleeping Beauty's prince.
Do you mean Snow White's prince, or do you actually mean Sleeping?
No,
I'm sorry,
Sleeping Beauty. I actually mean Sleeping Beauty.
Oh God! You see, this is the thing about the show is that there's so many
and
fairy
fell in love with Mulan, and then found out that Sleeping Beauty wasn't really dead. So then he left Mulan. I mean, this is like some. I mean, it makes 90210 look like it had a really well written plot. I mean, it's awful, and that was part of a few episodes of, I guess, season 3. I mean, it was okay. I liked the Mulan actress. She was very good, and I liked the angle they took with it. But yeah, it's just.
And then Frozen was season 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they're still grasping at straws. I always get this
I don't know
feeling.
what the hell that combination was for second half of season 4.
I know what it was. It was Cruella. It was.
Well, I know you know. I know what it is. I just don't know why they came up with those 3 in particular. It seemed random. It seemed like the definition of just throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah. Well, here's what I imagine. I imagine that the scriptwriters went out to Disneyland, and they saw a villains parade, and they said,
pretty much.
"Oh wow, look, those are Disney villains." And they went back, and they had a couple Mad Dog 2020s, and started shouting it out. And that's all I get out of it. I mean, the last couple seasons have just been so uninspired. Compared, I mean, I really will. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch the first
We should.
and second season because they were really good. And then once it went to Peter Pan, it really dropped off.
You see, the Peter Pan thing actually kind of intrigues me a little, so that's not any good.
I liked it.
Just because I think that Peter Pan has always been sort of like an inherently dark character if you look at the original Barry text.
Yeah, but if you watch the whole season, whole season.
Fair enough.
All I know is
it goes to crap by the end. Basically, you got Rumpelstiltskin, who's the world's worst baddie, who got corrupted by Peter Pan, and then they try to tie in everything, and it wasn't a bad season, don't get me wrong, but that's where they started to go wrong. And to me, it seemed like that season should have been the end. That should have been here's where we are, and we're going to give it up, and in 20 years we'll do the reunion episode or whatever. But they kept it going, and I still get this feeling the writers and the producers, towards the end of every season, they're like, will this actually get renewed? And as a result, they have no, solidity. Compare that to like what A&E is doing, and you look at season, shows that can take 5 years to develop, or 6 or 7 years, and they're just ABC is not there with this show, and I can't. I'll watch the coming season, but it's not what it was to me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. And
Dragon,
I'll
let me ask you this though: what is it? Because you seemed like really into it, and I'm just sort of like, okay, they're doing Brave, like that's fine. It doesn't really thrill me. What is it about Brave that excites you?
To me? No, I'm not excited.
Dragon.
Oh, you're asking? I thought you were talking to him still.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep this conversation rolling.
Well, I'm just saying it's going to be kind of interesting to see kind of Pixar kind of brought to live action within the show, because I thought it did such a. To me, look, I liked again, mind you, jumping into it blindly. So I see what England with Tiki and I did was we watched recaps of. Basically, they do like an hour recap special for each season leading up to them. So we watched a few of those, and maybe like a few fan ones where he's going to compile what the main points of the season are. So we basically went on with a guided path pretty much, and we just pretty much just jumped out of an airplane, assembling the parachute on the way down. We just figured out the best we could, and just jumping into 4 blindly. I liked 4 blindly. At least the first half of 4 blindly, I thought was really solid. Second, I did watch the second half. Tiki dropped off at that point, but just to see how it ended.
I do love me some Elizabeth Mitchell, and I think Elizabeth Mitchell definitely delivered.
Yeah, she was good. But second half of 4, I thought overall it was pretty. It was okay, but had some few moments I wasn't crazy about. I liked Ursula's story. I still hate her design, but I liked her story.
Mm-hmm.
Cruella had some interesting parts, but again, just overall, like the way they worked in the author, it was a little mixed up. I like the actor who played the author. So I mean, there were interesting things on the second half. So I mean, once upon intrigued me enough that I might check the first season at some point. I mean, I think the characters are really interesting.
Okay. So,
but there are some convoluted parts, I will admit. For me, not so much the magic, but so much like they bring characters back from past seasons. That's like they brought back a character, one of the witches. They have so many freaking witches. That's the thing that gets me.
Exactly.
There's like the whole how a lot of these characters are connected. That's the only part that really kind of loses me on the show. But I mean, the idea they're doing Brave next, and if they do it as well as they did with Frozen, like bring the characters like directly from the screen to the live action. I'm intrigued to watch it. At least the first half with idea. If it is the first half as Brave, I'm pretty sure, like 90% sure Brave is the first half of that season.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say about it. I mean, if you have not watched the first 2 seasons, go watch it. After that,
I haven't. So
it kind of turns into Days of Our Lives done by Disney. And
I know one thing. I really like Regina. She's interesting. I like her.
Regina is awesome. Every season, Regina is fantastic. And there are a lot of really great characters throughout.
Yeah.
I
love David too. He's good. I like him too.
Well, you'll find like one of the best characters they could have really if you watch the first 2 shows.
Is it Grumpy? Because Tiki loves Grumpy.
No.
I love Grumpy. Grumpy's awesome.
Grumpy's great, but and they do expand upon Grumpy. He has a love interest, for example. Did you know that?
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
No, we didn't know that.
That explains why he's grumpy, and I don't want to tell you more. But Jiminy Cricket, he's integral in the first season, and they drop him almost flat in the second season.
Right.
And it turns from this intellectual kind of retcon retrospective of how could all of these stories actually apply in real life to just I don't know how to explain it. Go watch the first two seasons.
So basically, it's Heroes with fairy tales.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, but I'm saying the first season of Heroes was amazing, and then it turned to shit.
Well, it was good, but yeah, in that respect it was. But I'm just saying the way that they told the stories in the first 2 seasons is completely different than what they do now.
Okay, fair enough.
Now it's more like the Smallville style, like, oh, we're going to end the series with, oh, you think that's Frozen? And the fan base is like, oh my god, there's Frozen crap, and then we're going to have Elsa. That's not how they did it the first season. I mean, literally, the first 2 seasons, I was sitting there just on the edge of my seat, at the end of every episode, like what's going to happen next week.
You're drawing me into this, man. I need to go back and marathon some of those.
The first 2 seasons are amazing. Third season's okay. I think they really lost their way. But again, I think that's because the producers and writers didn't know they were going to have a renewal. And you kind of see that.
Well, they had to have some idea because they end the seasons apparently 3 onward of they ended with they have a hint of what's to come next.
Right, but I mean, I just go back and watch the first 2 seasons. I'd love to talk to you. That's probably another podcast.
All right.
Where we could come back and talk about this.
That actually sounds fun. We should do that.
Let's start to get to one of the piece de resistance here. Let's get to mine.
And you know what? I'm actually kind of thinking, because I think this is going to take a while. I think the X-Men trailer is going to take a while. You want to just hold off Disneyland until tomorrow?
What?
Hold off Disneyland until tomorrow, because I don't know. I just think it's going on. I think
you want to break this into parts, or?
Well, what we could do is we could end it now. We could say this is the TV and Marvel section.
No, DC.
No, DC section. I'm sorry.
Well, just gonna call this the TV and DC section, and we get to.
And then the next one could be Star Wars and Marvel.
And they all are kind of owned by Disney, so.
Except not.
Well, yeah, I know. The Fox stuff isn't. So the Fox stuff is.
All right, I think we'll do that. Because I do really want to get to Disneyland tonight. And Dragon, I know you're just itching to talk about Deadpool. I'm really sorry. We'll have to wait. We'll have to make you wait a little longer. I feel bad for that.
Yep. You should feel bad because the Deadpool trailer was incredible.
Yes.
Hey, you want to end on the Deadpool trailer? Fine, let's end on the Deadpool.
No. Let's put into it.
No.
All right. Because I'm just saying, it is, the 17th, and I'm aware that you guys, it's after midnight, but, hey, on the West Coast, we still got 3 more hours where it's technically still Disneyland's 60th birthday.
Yeah, I'm in no rush.
Okay. Well, we'll reconvene at a later date. Consider this Comic-Con 2005, 2005, what the hell?
15.
Oh, hey, we got, what was coming out in we got a Pirates of the Caribbean sequel coming out in a year or 2.
Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Yay.
And we got Superman Returns on the horizon.
Oh, man, can't wait for that one. Oh, that's going to just bring Superman back in a whole new way.
Right. Yeah. Wait. Was Superman Returns the one where he had a kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I blocked it out of my memory.
I went to go see the midnight screening of that.
I'm so sorry.
The midnight screening.
I am so sorry.
Oh,
I was excited.
It was the most comatose midnight screening I've ever been to.
I was excited about it because of Kevin Spacey. Okay.
Oh, me too. I love Kevin Spacey. I honestly, I was excited about it because of Bryan Singer as well. Because I love the first 2 X-Men films.
I didn't realize they would turn Superman into a stalker.
Yeah, however, I do I don't mind how Brandreth played Superman, though. I think he did a decent job playing the guy. He had really bad stuff to do, though.
I'm telling you, Dragon, if you like Brandon Roth, he's got a kick-ass role in Scott Pilgrim. It's pretty small. It's virtually a cameo, but it's awesome. All right, anyways, so this will do it for this episode of Kickback Cafe. BlueDragonFive, I guess, I don't know, end us out on a Joker line or something.
Well, Tiki, I'm upset with you about not covering Deadpool. However,
it's for Disneyland, man. Do it for Disneyland.
Just overall, I can only say one thing to you. I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad.
I'm calling the authorities. I'm not comfortable.